Welcome to the Peak Oil Prognosticator channel, your one-stop shop for all your peak oil alarmist needs. If I had to compile the lies and misconceptions about peak oil made in the last 10 years, it would be impossible. Because peak oil is claimed to be a conspiracy from everyone. It's a conspiracy from the government. It's a conspiracy from the oil companies, from this and that group. But really, it's one of the most misunderstood topics of the 20th and the 21st century. But make no mistake, it is certainly one that is worth engaging in. Peak oil is nothing more than the quick death of industrial civilization. And I am here to convert you. What is peak oil? Well, peak oil is the maximum rate of oil production. The idea was first thought of by M. King Hubbert, a geophysicist working for Shell in 1956. He predicted that the U.S. oil production would peak in 1970. He was correct. Even with the shale revolution, we have not broken past that peak in 1970. When looking at an individual oil well, it forms kind of a rough bell curve. When you put many of these together, it makes a much more smooth pattern. For people who believe in peak oil, the most important point is peak world oil, namely the point at which the world will have peaked in oil production. At this point, many, including myself, believe there will be a quick and sudden death of industrial civilization. What emerges after that crash is up for speculation, but almost everyone who believes in peak oil agrees that the standards of living worldwide will be reduced significantly. When looking at world production, there are two important graphs: the graph of oil discovery and the graph of oil production. Clearly, you must discover oil in order to extract it. The world peaked in oil discoveries in 1965. The general consensus was that oil would peak 40 years after peak discoveries. In the US, we peaked in oil in 1970, and believe it or not, we peaked in oil discoveries in 1929. And we still have not beaten that 1970 record in oil production, even with the shale quote-unquote revolution. The thinking was that the world would peak around 2005. Now, this was untrue. But it was untrue only because of various recessions, oil shocks, depressions, and dips in oil use. I believe that peak oil will occur sometime between now and 2025. I would put the probability at 99%. But let me reiterate. Peak oil is the maximum rate of oil production. When peak oil occurs, it means you have used half of all existing oil. When we hit world peak oil, we will have used half of the world's oil. Now just think about that. That's just so groundbreaking. Half of everything that was ever there and will ever be there will be gone. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe we can wait another 300 million years for more fossil fuels, like oil, to be created. I will, unfortunately, die before then. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, so that way all of your friends can get their own free tinfoil hats too. Oh, and make sure to support me on Patreon because you want to give me your money before it all goes down.